Today, we're diving into a fascinating story where the world's largest island, Greenland, has found itself right in the middle of a superpower struggle. But this isn't just about claiming territory. It's really about sovereignty, incredibly valuable resources, and the powerful voice of a nation that is absolutely determined to write its own future. Greenland is ours. We are not for sale. That statement from Greenland's premier, Mute Borup Gede, is a direct shot across the bow in response to some serious pressure from the United States. It's them saying, loud and clear, that Greenland's future is not some real estate deal waiting to happen. And that really is the central question, isn't it? Why is an island with a population smaller than a lot of towns suddenly this grand prize for global superpowers? Well, to get to the bottom of it, we've got to look at who's behind all this interest and just how aggressive they're really being. So who's really pushing this? The main driver is a renewed and much more intense interest from the United States. Now, the idea of the U.S. buying Greenland has actually been floating around for over a century. But the way they're going about it now, it's alarmingly direct. Just look at this timeline. You can see how fast things escalated. What started as this kind of, moment back in 2019 when the idea of buying Greenland was floated, quickly got very serious with the appointment of a special envoy. Then came the direct threats, which forced Greenland to just come out and publicly say no. This isn't some casual inquiry. This is a full-on campaign of pressure. So what is it that makes Greenland such a 21st century prize? Well, it really comes down to this perfect storm of geography, geology, and our planet's changing climate. The contrast here is just staggering. Think about this. You've got a population of under 57,000 people, living on an island that's 3 times the size of Texas. But its strategic value? It's just off the charts. It sits on a critical naval choke point. It's vital for missile defense. And buried under all that ice, vast untapped resources. You see, there are 3 massive forces all converging on Greenland right now. First up, you've got the melting Arctic ice, which is literally opening up new shipping lanes and making it easier to get to those resources. Second, there's this global race for rare earth minerals, which China currently has a lock on. And third, from a military point of view, Greenland offers a totally unmatched perch for keeping an eye on Russian and Chinese activity up in the Arctic. But this whole story isn't just about rocks and ice. It's about people and their incredibly unique political identity. To really get why they're taking this stand, we need to understand the complex relationship between Greenland and Denmark. Now, this quote, this one is really fascinating because it doesn't come from Greenland's leader. That's the Danish Prime Minister. It's this incredible acknowledgement that even though Greenland is technically part of the Danish realm, it has its own distinct identity and, crucially, the right to decide its own future. So what does self-governing actually look like in practice? Well, basically, Greenland runs its own show on domestic stuff, everything from healthcare and education to, most importantly, its own natural resources. But Denmark still handles the big picture things, like foreign policy, defense, and the currency. It's a delicate balance for sure, but it's one that's designed to give Greenland more and more autonomy over time. And this is the absolute key point. It's not just some friendly political agreement. The 2009 Act on Self-Government is a huge deal. It formally recognizes the people of Greenland as a distinct people under international law, and with that comes the right to self-determination. This is the legal bedrock that makes any talk of a sale completely, utterly irrelevant. But having this right to choose your own path, well, that comes with its own massive challenges. And it's created a really powerful debate inside Greenland about what comes next. The desire for full independence is just overwhelming. I mean, look at this poll from 2025. A whopping 84% of Greenlanders want it. We're not talking about some fringe movement here. This is a national consensus. It's the official goal of pretty much every major political party. But here's the catch. That national dream runs smack into this number, $600 million. That's how much money they get from Denmark every single year in a subsidy. It funds a huge part of their public services, like hospitals and schools. You can't have political independence without first having economic independence. And this is where the really hard choices have to be made. To stand on their own 2 feet financially, they've got to develop their economy. For Greenland, that often means mining. But that's where things get really complicated. The 2021 election was famously all about this very issue, and voters chose to block a massive rare earth and uranium mine because of environmental worries. They want economic freedom, but they're not willing to get it at any cost.
And on one thing, they are absolutely united. Greenlanders and only Greenlanders will get to make these calls.
Okay, so this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. How Greenland's defiant stand is actually backed up by the rules of the entire international game.
First up, we have the right to self-determination. And listen, this isn't just some nice idea, it's a core principle of international law. It means the people of Greenland, and only the people of Greenland, have the absolute right to choose their own political future. Period. Next, there's the principle of non-intervention. Basically, it means a powerful country can't just throw its weight around with threats or political pressure to force another nation to do what it wants. Any attempt to strong-arm Greenland into giving up territory is a clear violation of this. And last, but definitely not least, is the prohibition of the threat of force. This is a cornerstone of the UN Charter. And here's the kicker. When a world leader says they'll take a territory one way or the other, that is a direct breach of international law. You don't even have to fire a shot to violate this rule. The threat itself is illegal.
And this powerful quote from Premier Agata just wraps it all up perfectly. It's not just about saying no to the Americans. It's a declaration of their own unique identity and this unwavering promise to forge their own path. It's the ultimate expression of self-determination. So all of this leaves us with a really big, critical question for our time. In this new era of superpower competition, where resources and strategic locations seem to be everything, can the principle of self-determination for just 56,000 people actually stand up to the ambitions of the world's most powerful nations? The world is watching, and Greenland's stand might just give us the answer.